Okay, let's unpack this deep dive. We've got a whole stack of sources here, all about Roman bridges.
Right.
And we're not just talking simple crossings. We want to get into the engineering genius, the ambition behind them.
Yeah, what made them last?
Exactly. Uncover those secrets for you, how they built something so strong, so enduring.
And you really have to start right there in Rome,
Ah,
on the Tiber River. That was kind of the test lab.
okay. So the early ones.
Yeah, the earliest were fascinating.
Right.
Take the pons Sublicious, maybe 7th century BC.
Yeah.
Purely wooden. The name even tells you sublice means piles, wooden posts.
And it was famous for defense, right?
Exactly. It was designed sort of to be dismantled quickly. You know the story, Horatius holding off the Etruscans while the Romans tore the bridge down behind him.
Classic story. But, okay, building something easy to tear down is one thing. How did they pivot to stone, to
Yeah.
building something permanent?
That's the big shift. You see it with the Pons Aemilius, starting maybe 179 BC. It shows that transition.
Yeah.
Well, they started with stone piers, the foundations in the river, but the top was still wood. Later, they tried for a full stone arch structure.
But it wasn't easy.
Not on the Tiber. That river floods. The Pons Aemilius, it just kept getting damaged, washed away partly. It shows they were, learning the hard way.
So how did they finally crack it, build bridges that wouldn't wash away? This must be where the real Roman engineering kicks in.
Absolutely. The game changer wasn't like inventing the arch itself.
Mm-hmm.
Others had used arches.
Okay.
It was perfecting the semicircular arch, using those wedge-shaped stones voussoirs, they're called, very precisely cut.
With the keystone right at the top.
Exactly. The keystone locks the whole thing together. It creates this incredibly strong, self-supporting structure. The weight pushes outwards and downwards into the piers.
Right, distributing the load.
Perfectly.
Right.
And suddenly they could span much wider gaps, rivers, valleys, things that were just impossible barriers before. It really opened things up.
And I know they had some pretty amazing materials, too, sort of their secret ingredients.
Oh, yeah. Roman concrete, opus caementicium. The key was adding pozzolana, that volcanic ash.
What did that do?
It reacted with lime and water to make a concrete that was incredibly strong, and this is crucial, it could set underwater.
Wow, underwater. That must have been revolutionary for foundations.
Total game changer for building stable piers and flowing rivers. And they were masters of stonework, too. Opus quadratum. Huge, precisely cut stone blocks fitted together, sometimes even using lead-coated iron clamps to lock them.
Amazing. But how did they actually build the arch part? You can't just hang stones in the air.
No, you need support. They used temporary wooden frameworks called centering or falsework, built in the exact shape of the arch.
Like a mold?
Kind of, yeah. They'd lay the voussoirs and the keystone onto this wooden frame. Once the keystone was in and the arch could support itself, they'd carefully remove the wood.
Clever. And what about working in the river? You mentioned the foundations.
Cofferdams. Basically, they'd build temporary watertight enclosures right in the riverbed, pump the water out, and boom, you've got a relatively dry area to build the piers. Vitruvius, the famous Roman architect and a writer, he actually described these methods.
So they had the design, the concrete, the stonework, the construction techniques, and this knowledge spread everywhere, right? Across the whole empire.
All over. And the incredible thing is, you can still see so many of them standing today.
Like which ones?
Well, right in Rome, the Pons Fabricius, built 62 BC. It's the oldest Roman bridge, still there, pretty much as it was originally built. Still in use, over 2,000 years.
Incredible. And the builder even put his name on it?
Yep, Lucius Fabricius, an inscription right there. Imagine that pride.
Talk about building for posterity. Then there's the Alcántara Bridge in Spain, right? That one's spectacular.
Oh, absolutely majestic. Granite, huge arches crossing this deep gorge, built under Emperor Trajan. And its architect, Losser, he left an inscription too. Said he built it to last for ages of the world.
And he wasn't wrong.
Not at all. It survived centuries.
Yeah.
And interestingly, most of the damage it suffered came from wars. People trying to capture or destroy it, not from, floods or just falling down.
Wow. So human conflict was harder on it than 2 millennia of nature? That says something about the construction.
It really does. And the scale could be immense.
Yeah.
Look at Merida in Spain, Augusta Emerita back then. The bridge there is huge, one of the longest. 60 arches. People still walk across it.
60 arches. And they weren't afraid to be bold either, were they?
No way. The Pont Saint-Martin in Italy, a single, really daring arch. They anchored it directly into the rock walls of a gorge. Shows how adaptable they were.
So these bridges, they weren't just infrastructure, they were more than that.
Definitely. There were strategic tools, first off. Think military pontoon bridges for quick crossings.
Hmm.
And Caesar, he built that massive bridge over the Rhine River in just 10 days.
10 days. Why so fast?
Purely a show of force. To intimidate the Germanic tribes, show them Rome could go anywhere, do anything.
A symbol of power.
Exactly. Bridges were symbols of Roman power, Roman order, connecting this vast empire. It's no accident the high priest in Rome was the pontifex, literally the bridge builder. It tied into the very identity of Rome, connecting people, linking territories.
So summing this up, the legacy is just enormous. I mean, influencing engineering for centuries, and so many are still standing.
It's a testament.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's complex. That connectivity also made it easier for invaders later on when Rome was weaker. Double-edged sword.
True. But fundamentally, these structures were deliberate statements, weren't they? Statements of permanence.
Absolutely. They were Rome saying, we can reshape the world. We build for eternity. When you stand and look at one today, you're seeing Roman ingenuity, their sheer ambition, made solid. Strength built to last.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What are we building today that's truly designed with that kind of permanence in mind? Something for you to consider.